All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a car that, if you're in Europe, you've definitely seen all over the place, the Peugeot 208. And what a story it has. It's all about how this car climbed to the top, got hit with some serious critiques, and is now, well, it's about to be completely reinvented. So before we look at what's coming, you gotta understand where this car is right now. And let me tell you, the electric version, the E208, it's an absolute giant. We're not just talking about a popular car here. This thing is basically setting the rules for the whole market across Europe. I mean, just look at its home turf in France. It's not even a competition. It's the undisputed #1 best-selling electric car, period. It's the reigning champ, the one everyone else is trying to beat, the car that defined what a cool, compact EV could be.
But you know how it is. When you're at the top, everyone's got a magnifying glass on you. The critics started poking holes in it, pointing out some pretty big flaws. And the competition? Oh, they are catching up, and fast. So that leaves Peugeot with a massive question. What do you do for an encore? How do you top this?
Okay, so first things first. Let's really dig into what made this car such a runaway hit. What was the secret sauce here? What was that winning formula?
Well, it really came down to a killer combination of style and, actual substance. You've got that iconic lion's claw design. You see it, you know exactly what it is. But it wasn't just a pretty face. It had a really solid, usable range. It even won Europe's most efficient electric car in the 2024 ADAC Eco Test. That's a huge deal. Then you throw in an interior that feels way more expensive than it is, and the fact that it's just plain fun to zip around town in, yeah, you can see why people absolutely fell for it.
But, like we said, no champion is flawless, right? As more and more of these hit the road, people, drivers, and reviewers alike started to pick up on the same recurring problems. So let's see what the pros over at Autocar had to say about it. And their take really sums up the whole dilemma perfectly. On the one hand, yeah, they love the usable range and the nice interior, all the stuff we just talked about. But, and this is a big but, they called out some major issues. The price was steep. The back seat was seriously cramped. And then there's the infamous iCockpit. You know, Peugeot's whole thing with the high-up dials and the tiny steering wheel. Well, for a lot of drivers, the steering wheel just blocks the view of the instruments. It just makes for a really awkward, frustrating driving position.
This one quote from their review just nails it. Decent to drive, but the usability frustrates. That's it, right there. It perfectly captures the problem. The car's got the look, it's got the premium feel, but the everyday stuff, the practicalities, plus that price tag, they were becoming deal breakers. Especially with all the new rivals popping up. Something had to give. Peugeot had to have an answer.
And boy, did they come up with an answer. It is dramatic, to say the least. This is where we get to the next chapter. And listen, we're not talking about a little facelift here, a few tweaks there. Nope. We're talking about the 2026 model, which is being billed as a full-on reinvention. Yeah, that's the message coming straight from Peugeot. It's not just a restyling, it's a revolution. They know they can't just play it safe. They've got to make a big, bold move. And that is exactly what they're lining up for 2026. And you can see that revolution kick off right on the outside. The whole look is getting way more aggressive, way more futuristic. We're talking sharper matrix LED headlights, a wider 3D grille that really makes a statement, and sculpted bumpers that are all about aerodynamics. It just looks so much more grown-up and confident. But believe it or not, the changes on the inside are even bigger. This is where Peugeot is taking those criticisms about the frustrating layout and the quality head-on. They are completely rethinking that signature iCockpit. So here's the game plan. Step 1, a brand new 10-inch 3D digital cluster for the driver. Step 2, they've redesigned that compact steering wheel. And step 3, a huge, dominant 12-inch screen right in the center of the dash. It's obvious they're going for a much more high-tech cockpit feel that's all about the driver. And it's not just about slapping in more screens either. They're making a massive leap in how the cabin feels. We're talking soft-touch materials all over the place, real satin aluminum trim, and that cool configurable ambient lighting. The whole idea is to make this small car feel like you're sitting in something much, much more expensive. All right, but a revolution can't just be about looks and touchy-feely materials, right? You need more muscle. So let's get under the hood and check out the upgrades to the powertrain. So let's just compare the two side by side. The current E208 has a decent 154 horsepower. The new one? More powerful. Simple as that. But the big story is the range. It's jumping from around 400 kilometers to over 450. That's a huge boost. And what's really great is that they've kept the fast charging time the same, about 25 minutes to get you from 20 to 80%. So you get more power, more range, but you don't lose any of that convenience.
Which of course brings us to the million-dollar question. Peugeot has clearly listened. They've answered the critics with a bolder design, a classier interior, and better performance. But let's be real. Rivals like the Clio, the Yaris, and the Polo, they are not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So is this revolution going to be enough for the 208 to stay king of the hill?
Now, whether this is all going to be enough to fight off the competition, well, that's the big question we'll have to wait until 2026 to answer. But one thing is crystal clear. Peugeot isn't just trying to defend its title. It feels like they're trying to build a whole new dynasty. Thanks so much for joining us as we broke down the story of the Peugeot 208.